for being here today. My name is Natalie Sosa, and I'm with the El Paso County Communications Department, and it's a pleasure to welcome you today. I'd like to start by recognizing El Paso County Commissioners Carrie Geithner, El Paso County Commissioner Stan Vanderwerf, El Paso County Commissioner Longinos Gonzalez Jr., and County Administrator Brett Waters. Today is an exciting day for El Paso County and our residents as we announce the most recent round of ARPA grant funding the county is awarding to regional and wastewater projects. We would like to take a moment to recognize the recipients of the water and wastewater projects. If you are here representing one of the projects, please stand as I announce your name. City of Fountain. Denala Water and Sanitation District. Forest View Acres Water District. Monument Sanitation District. Palmer Lake Sanitation District. Red Rock Valley Estates Water District. Very good. Rock Creek Metro. Security Water District. Stratmore Hills Water District. The Loop. Town of Calhan. Town of Rama. Tri-View Metro District. Venatucci Farm. Widefield Water and Sanitation District. Woodman Hills Metro District. We extend our gratitude to all the organizations represented today for your dedication to our community. Thank you for joining us today. In a moment, you will hear from some of those organizations that will tell you how this funding will impact the daily lives of everyday residents in El Paso County. Even though each speaker is going to introduce the next, let me tell you who you'll be hearing from today. Commissioner Longinos Gonzalez Jr., El Paso County Commissioner, District 5. Brett Waters, El Paso County Administrator. Sharon Thompson, City of Fountain. And Joe Allen, Town Trustee, Town of Rama. After you hear from each of our speakers, there will be a question and answer and then a group photo of all the organizations represented today. First, please welcome Commissioner Gonzalez Jr., who will tell you about the exciting grant funding and what it means for the community.
Thank you, Natalie, for the introduction. I'm honored to be able to represent the county commissioners during this event today. I would also like to thank all the recipients represented here today for taking time out to help celebrate this occasion with us. This is a once-in-a-lifetime funding opportunity for many of these water projects and related infrastructure, top priorities for so many of our residents. Some of our projects are in rural areas, places that would otherwise find it somewhere between difficult and impossible to complete these projects without these grants. Other projects are focused on building up infrastructure for contaminant removal to ensure long-term safe drinking water for residents. Everyone knows that I'm a strong advocate for funding of infrastructure and for clean, safe water in our community. I'm excited about the projects that are going to contribute to this goal throughout El Paso County. These projects will have a positive impact on the residents of Fountain, Rama, areas north and south, and all the communities in between. In total, 16 projects were selected for funding, which serve a total of 53,982 households. By 2050, we expect those numbers to jump to more than 95,000 households benefited from what you're seeing today. Because of the great opportunity this funding presented presented to the county, we wanted to make sure that we had a process in place to responsibly allocate grants. To speak more about that, I'd like to turn time over to our County Administrator, Brett Waters.
Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez, and thank you again for being here today. As County Administrator, I am proud of how we are investing ARPA funding to make the greatest impact in our community. We are making sound investments that will enhance the quality of life for our residents. We are helping businesses thrive and strengthening water infrastructure. Today, we are celebrating our investment in water and wastewater infrastructure. The application review was a robust process guided by federal guidelines that involved water experts that thoroughly reviewed and scored each application. The county prioritized projects involving water recycling, contaminant removal, rural projects, and those who had a low chance of viability without ARPA funding when considering the applications. There were many worthy projects considered. It was a tough decision to narrow down those who were selected. We understand that not all projects were considered were able to be funded, but we are confident that the projects chosen will make a positive impact on the residents of El Paso County. Now, I think it's important that you hear from some of those recipients to get an idea of what projects are doing for the citizens of El Paso County. And let me introduce Mayor Thompson from the City of Fountain.
Thank you, Brett. On behalf of the City of Fountain, City Council, and residents of Fountain, I would like to thank El Paso County for the opportunity to come today to recognize our great partnership and convey our appreciation for the grant funding for our community, which we have been awarded. You should have heard the screaming in my phone when Commissioner Gonzalez called me. Thank you. Fountain has remained focused on facilitating responsible and carefully managed growth in our community, same as our regional partners, while also providing and maintaining the highest quality citizen services, safety, quality of life, and economic growth for our citizens. Our strategic plan embraces the growth occurring through our region and places us on a solid path of developing to an even more contemporary, accomplished city while maintaining an all-American hometown feel and strong sense of community. One of the challenges we are addressing to achieve this vision is ensuring that we have the water infrastructure we need to meet our community's future needs. We have identified that we must maximize access to our current water rights and resources, and particularly focus on delivering high-quality treated water to our utilities customers. To do this, the city has long envisioned projects that will accommodate the city's growth and address those future capabilities. One such project, the Fountain Reservoir and Water Treatment Plant Project, envisions utilizing existing city property to build a reservoir and treatment plant that will pull water from Fountain Creek, treat the water on site, and then put that water back into the system to reach our utilities customers. It will serve as a major contributor to our ability to provide the treated water that we need to serve our expanding community. To help realize the reservoir project and significantly contribute to offsetting the development costs of such an undertaking, the City of Fountain applied through El Paso County for a grant through the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. We are pleased to have been awarded $2.147 million through this grant. These incredibly important funds will not only be used in perfect alignment with the City of Fountain's strategic plan and priorities, but also addresses multiple core principles, goals, and objectives of the El Paso County Master Plan. This alignment between Fountain and the county's strategic priorities and goals highlights the value of this investment and demonstrates the strength of our region's focus on preparing together for a common future. Thank you again to the county for their leadership, cooperation, and efforts. We look forward to continued progress on behalf of the citizens we serve. It is now my pleasure to introduce Joe Allen, Town Trustee, Town of Rama. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joe. We were awarded $2 million towards our new sewer project. We are planning a new pond system that meets all state guidelines. As of now, our sewer system is unlined, undersized pond located in our floodplains. Obtaining this grant is a big step in making sure our residents' rates do not have to be increased substantially. Without this grant, the town would have had to have several large loans and would have to pass on costs to our 125 residents. The town received a grant to purchase the land for the project and a grant to do the design and engineering on the system. The last estimate for the construction cost was $2.5 million in 2020, but the inflation, we are unsure of final cost. We have started looking into grants and loans to complete the construction that should start in spring of 2023. The construction will be the last phase and the most expensive. On behalf of the town of Rama, we thank you.
Thank you to all our speakers. Now we will conclude with the question and answer session of this event. So we will have questions from the media. As they ask their questions, we'll have somebody with a microphone to them, and we'll also be taking a microphone to any of the recipients that want to answer that question, specifically if it has to do with your project. If it's a commissioner or county administrator, town administrator, if you guys want to come up here and answer the question up here, that would be fine too. Okay. Media, do you have any questions? After? Oh, you're going to do just individual interviews? Okay. Gazette, did you have a question? Found a...
Karen Hill, Fountain Valley News. I'm wondering how the communities that are dealing with long-term PFAS contamination might be benefiting from these funds, like Security, Widefield, Fountain.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Oh, well, thank you very much. And so one of the things we did want to make sure when we were going into the criteria on how these grants would be awarded was undertaking a third-party endeavor of looking at areas that we've considered important and priorities. And at the very top of that was making sure that we had clean, safe water. And so the PFAS situation was something that was at the very top of the criteria, as well as any other type of contaminants in the county. But that is why you do see projects here awarded in large numbers to Widefield, to Security, to Fountain and Stratmore Hills, and Vanatucci Farms as well. And I hope I didn't miss anybody there that was related to PFAS, but that was one of the highest level criteria in the endeavors in making sure that we had a fair allocation to communities, but we wanted to make sure that safe, clean water and the cleaning up of any contamination was at the top. And I think we did a good job on that with these allocations today.
Any other questions from the media?
Thank you. So this is more of a countywide question. Can you talk about, so when you received, the total ARPA money, I believe it was close to $40 million. Can somebody speak to, and I know that was certain monies were designated for certain things. And can you talk about the importance, why the county wanted to put a fund away for water and wastewater projects?
Thank you very much, Stan Vanderwerf, El Paso County Commissioner, and I think Commissioner Geithner will follow behind me, and the two of us will work to answer your question. So one of the key things that county government does across the nation is to make sure that we have good infrastructure. You know, we've had in the past a lot of priority in roads and bridges and these kinds of things, but infrastructure is so much more than that. It's also about sewer lines and water and those kinds of things. Now, the preponderance of the work that is done in the county is done by private providers. But in our rural communities, they have small populations, and these kinds of investments regarding water infrastructure, sewage infrastructure, and so forth, they are very, very expensive. And we have some situations across the county where the number of residents is insufficient for them to tax themselves in a reasonable way in order to address those kinds of challenges. So we felt that this became an opportunity for us to prepare the county for the continued growth in areas where the investment capacity was pretty limited. And then to your point, really, infrastructure is broad. You know, for our ARPA funds, we invested, for example, what the federal government allowed us to invest into roads, and we've invested in other kinds of infrastructure. And also we went through a business application process and help businesses survive COVID. So it's been a wide variety of a series of different things. But that legislation from the federal government specifically included water and sewer infrastructure. So this is our contribution in that arena. And Commissioner Geithner, if you'd like to come up and maybe follow up with a couple of other comments. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I think that really the heart of this is that this is a responsibility that we feel very strongly is one of the core responsibilities of government, even though it's not directly under our authority, and we have a great number of people here who actually are responsible for making sure that that clean water and that sewer water all has a place to go and is all dealt with appropriately. It is absolutely a priority for me to make sure that we are doing everything that we can as a county to support that. As has been mentioned many times, and I think we can all tell just by driving down the road, we have a lot of growth here in El Paso County. We're a great place to live, so people want to continue to come here. And we need to make sure that the future of our community is secure in terms of water. So a lot of the projects not only dealt with contaminants that we're dealing with today, but I'll mention specifically the Loop project and other projects that are really focused on renewable water so that we can make sure that we're not just draining basins and not worrying about that now, but that we are actually looking toward the future and how we're going to make sure that we can provide sustainable water for a long period of time as we continue to grow. Thank you.
Media, did you have any other questions? Okay. The media has expressed they would like to do individual interviews after this event. So we'll have them available upstairs, and then we can talk about who you might want to interview. Before we get to that, we're going to go ahead and do a group photo. So we're going to do it in front of this area back here. So as you can come down, we can grab a group photo.